So good morning, everyone. It's just before 5 in the morning. Just arrived late last night at the Jolly Mountain Fire. We've been attached to a strike team. It's a type 2 incident, and I'll share some video with you today, and we'll start with breakfast this morning, and then we'll have our briefing at 0600. We'll get our assignment. I don't know what we're going to be doing today. All I know is we've been assigned to day shift. I'm on a type 6 engine. I got one firefighter, and that's it. I guess we'll head on over to breakfast and see what's going on.
So we've been tasked with prepping structures for fire front, which is coming from that direction there. There's a good chance that they'll be here today, so we're just getting all of the plumbing in. These are portable drop tanks, holding the water that we'll need to supply to the houses in case the fire reaches them. Over here is the supply cache. This is how things come. We've got oil, and these are mop-up kits, or these are pump kits, and all the things that we need. Hoses is interesting. They all come in these cardboard boxes, and there's just stacks of them everywhere.
Structure protection group.
This is a Mark III high-pressure pump.
Hey, Rich, it's
An extra gas. We've got two of those up there.
Start off the 903 and go up that road past the houses, and we're going to brush. We can make contact with you after that.
This is a water tender. This is how we haul water up to these remote locations. They often figure the cost of delivering a gallon of water up here, when you figure manpower and fuel and all of that, it's equivalent to about the cost of a gallon of milk. So every gallon of water that you spray up here, that's what it's worth. So this is my engine. It's considered a type 6. It's usually just like a 1-ton 450 F550 with a 300-gallon tank of water and foam. And that's what we'll be living in here for the next week, maybe 14 days, maybe 21. This is one of the structures that we're going to be trying to look after today. That is one of the most beautiful log homes I think I've ever seen. That is not a kit log home right there. Imagine the effort that went into using those non-typical logs. It's just beautiful, isn't it? Very defensible house, though. When we roll up on these, we're looking for a few things. You know, what is the construction, and what is the roof material, and is there overhanging porches and different things that could ignite fires? Are there brush or shrubbery or trees? But this is really good. It's all cleared around there. It's got a metal roof. It's got heavy log construction, which is very slow to burn, hard to get going, and it's super defensible. This is just about the ideal right here. So here's something you might find interesting. So this is a historic building that we're protecting for the coming fire front. And this is, you can see here's a typical sprinkler system that's plumbed around the structures. And so this will be turned on with a Mark III pump. And if things get too hot and no one can stay here and defend it, you can see that there's lines dug all the way around the outbuilding there, as well as the trees to prevent the fire from laddering up in there. And pretty typical. Sometimes some of the homeowners have done this themselves, but whenever you have a historic building like this, it usually gets a little bit of special attention. That's 1.5 inch lines with gated wise, and then these little fittings here. I'm kicking with my toe. It's called a water thief. It just steals a little bit, 3/4 inch line off of the main line. Here's 1.5 inches. Here's 1 inch, and then sprinklers mounted all the way around the old structure. So something else that we use to help orient everyone, so if you're looking for something, is we use something called a drop point. Drop points are areas that are numbered on our maps all over the area where they'll leave caches of supplies. And then we have, in the morning, we kind of get the instructions on what's here and what's in the cache. So if we need supplies, or we need fuel or pumps or hoses or anything, that we can go to these things. The other thing that makes it really easy is if we're on a radio and we need to meet up with someone, we can say, so we're up at drop point 40, and then everyone knows exactly where you're at. So you'll see these all over the place with caches of cardboard boxes. Are going to have all sorts of things. You got some mop-up stuff and brass and fittings, and we've got gated Ys, and those are mop-up kits or maybe pump kits there. Everything comes in cardboard boxes. The Forest Service has the coolest gas cans. I don't know where you buy these things, but they are, I've always liked them. Safety cans, all protected in here, so you can throw them in the back of the truck and you don't have to worry about something knocking it open or having a fuel spill. What's in this one? Gatorade bottle. Oh yeah, so here's a typical mop-up kit. Those should have, I think, 1,000 feet of hose. I haven't seen this in a mop-up kit. It's got a saw. No, a sprinkler kit. I'm sorry. Yes, this is a sprinkler kit. I've never seen one of these before. So this is what you would get to sprinkle a building. Everything that you need. I don't know what those are for. Screws. You got some tools in there. You got a hammer for pounding the stakes. Yeah, that's a new one for me. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen that.
So Brad and I were just driving. This is kind of the end of our patrol area here. We were driving and we crossed that bridge there to turn around, and there was a sign. We saw, "Please don't enter in here, the night shift is sleeping." So we're running 2 shifts, a day shift and a night shift. Our shifts up here are 12 hours. And so they've been working all night, and they removed them from the main camp because it's so noisy with the generators running and all of the goings on and people coming and going. So they'll usually put them in a remote area so that they can have peace and try to get some sleep during the day, because they have to go back out tonight. So one of the things that we try to do when we're patrolling is to see anything that might be a problem, any vehicles that were left behind. If we can get inside and if the windows are left down, this can the fire can get into that upholstery and start the fire up. So doing something as simple as just rolling the windows up can make a big difference if an ember gets in there. So here's another thing that we're doing is we're covering up, anything we can cover, like wood piles, anything that an ember could get in and really get a foothold. These are just standard tarps. They're not fireproof by any means, but they will help if an ember or falling pine cone or something, it would prevent it from catching on fire. Anything where we can cover like a deck or a wood shed. This here is full of firewood. That right there, just that little bit of protection there can make all the difference in the world. So this is an urban interface community. Urban interface just means homes that are kind of in the forest or right in the edges of the forest. And the fire is coming from up there on that ridge. You might be able to hear the aircraft. Here we have one right here. Zoom in on that. You'll see that he's banking in. He'll make a drop. So I can see the smoke column starting right there. And what we're concerned about is it's going to back down in here and get into all of these homes. Some of these homes are primaries, and some of them are second homes. But I don't think we've only seen one guy, maybe 2 guys that have stayed behind.
Yeah.
The rest of them have all been evacuated. So this computer right here, it's called a Kestrel, and we can really predict fire behavior really accurately with these things by looking at weather conditions. So if you come up here, you can see this with the glare. But this is going to give us some things here. It's going to give us altitude and all that, but the thing we're really concerned about is going to be our temperature. So we're hot. We're at 96, 97 degrees. The big thing is the humidity. Humidity's at 31% or so. We have a point of ignition of 40. So that means there's a 40% chance of if a spark or an ember lands on the ground around here that it will ignite and start a fire. So this has been in my pocket, so I think it's a little bit off because we checked it maybe 15 minutes ago and it was at 50, the pig.
Yes.
I'll swing this around here a little bit, but we'll check it again. But it's an amazing tool that you can use to really get an accurate idea on what type of behavior the fire is going to exhibit and what you can kind of expect.